Well, good morning guys. So I hope you all had a good Christmas. Hope Santa was good to you. I hope he brought you plenty of fishing stuff. Loads of lures, loads of active stuff. Because he brought me nothing. But hey ho, we crack on. So you probably have noticed I've not been out at all recently. I've found that I've not had any holidays off work, working right through. Just plans with the family, plans with the missus after dinner, dark at night. But I've got a wee free day today, and since I've been absolutely hopeless with the pike fishing, and with any sort of fishing, I had two choices. I was going to go to Magiscroft, wee course fishery, try and get some fish, but plans changed last minute. I'm out myself, and so I thought I'd come and do a wee bit of Grayling fishing on the river. So yeah, I'm down here now. Now I've not had this fly rod out. I've got my fly rod here. I've not had this light, so it's a 9-foot 3 weight. It's an older Gray's Stream Flex. Good rods at the time, but I think they're well outdated. But yeah, I've not had this out in about 4 years, 5 years, something like that. Same way a wee Sierra reel. The line on it's about 6-year-old. Not had that out in about 4 years, so I'm hoping that when we bring it out, it's not going to become a slinky. But yeah, I'm a bit ill prepared for the Grayling. I've got these tatty shoes on that I showed you. Look at the state of that. I can go right through. I can get my hand right through. This big chunk here. Get my finger right through there as well. Kind of they're both on the same sides. Hopefully they hold up. I'm just walking down to the water just now. It's absolutely freezing down here. It was about 6-7 degrees where I was. I've drove down to this bit. I've only got a hoodie. I've not even got my jacket. And yeah, it's down to like 2 degrees. So it's going to be a cold one. I might only get a couple of hours. But hopefully we can get a wee fish in a couple of hours. But anyway, less talking for me. I'll see you at the first cast. So before I jump into the water, I'll just show you my wee setup. Like, it's nothing special. I know that the fly fishing for the Grayling and nymph and that's came a long way since I used to do it. I know there's lots of different types of tapered leaders, indicators, stuff like that, but I've not got any of that today. So I've got 4-pound fluorocarbon straight from the tippet of my rod. I've got 3 flies on. I've got a wee pheasant tail nymph on the point. I've got a grub / caddis nymph on the sort of middle, and sorry, I said a pheasant tail nymph on the point. I don't. I've got a pheasant tail nymph on the top dropper, a caddis larvae on the middle, and on the point I've got a wee black and silver weighted nymph. Again, just like a wee pheasant tail nymph, just a wee bit of weight in it. It's quite shallow, but probably what I plan to do is, rather than get right into the water and cast upstream, most of my fishing today is probably going to be casting kind of up and across and bringing it sort of back down. Again, I've not done this in ages, so I'll show you my flies if you can see it. There's the wee middle dropper, whereas there's my pheasant tail nymph on the top dropper, and there is my point fly. So yeah, let's get in the water and see if we can get a fish. Just heading down to the water. I'm going to start at this wee point up here because I was trying to find a good point to start it, so I'm not just starting at a random point. But this wee flow coming in looks good. I need to be quite careful here because it's quite slippy rocks, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it because I've not got a polarised lens on the GoPro, but it's clear water, but it drops off pretty deep. That's probably about the size of me in there, so I think for this part I'll pretty much stay on the bank. Yeah, it's been a while since I've casted these wee light rods, so we'll see how it goes. The line's actually holding up not too bad. It's still pretty straight. I know ideally I want to be in the water here and casting directly upstream with the nymphs, but like I say, it's a bit deep there and my shoes won't hold up that good. That was a better cast. It's just hard with these back eddies to actually get your line, get a bit of slack on your line to get your nymphs to flow freely. Oh, easier said than done that. Bit of tongue twister. I have caught fish on this sort of setup before in the past. It's all I used to fish in the past. No indicator, just watching the tip of the line. Bit old school, but hey ho. Didn't have time, couldn't go to a shop to go and get some tapered leaders, indicators and all of this stuff. So my droppers are just tied on with wee 4-ton water knots as well. Again, ideally I want to be holding that line back, letting the flies get in front of the top of my line and then drift down, but just where I am right now. I'll maybe be able to do it down there a wee bit when I can actually get in the water. It's a bit impossible to do it just now. Come on, there's always the one shite bag. Let's try and jump in down here, but I've got a feeling that I might fall on my arse. Oh. And now's the time to see if my waders actually do leak. Oh, we're not bad, we're not bad. So it'll be hard for you guys to see on the GoPro, but I'm just watching the very tip of my line. Just watching for any wee sort of darting movements. Most of the times it is rocks, just the flies dinging off of rocks. But that odd time it might be a fish. I think ideally as well, when it comes to the nymphing, you want to be fishing upstream. So obviously if I've got fish sitting down here looking up the way, me walking down could very well spook everything in that sort of area. Whereas if you walk up, if they're sitting facing that way, they won't be aware that I'm here, as long as I'm quiet enough. But like I say, I'm just getting out the house, getting a wee cast, getting a wee practice with the fly rod. I had an idea to get out grayling fishing for a wee while, but just never actually had the time to do it. Well, so right now we'll call it fishing because I've not seen or caught a grayling yet. It's only a 9-foot 3 weight that I've got as well. I think, especially in bigger rivers like this, having a 10-foot 4 weight, especially for the nymphing, it does help. This is more of I'd say it's more of a dry fly rod, a sort of medium to small river rod. Because it doesn't look like a lot, but sometimes the current in the Clyde and the sort of bigger rivers, the Clyde, the Tweed, the Don, the Dee, the Spey, it's crazy. You go into wade and you think it'll be okay, but then you start wading and you're like, oh my god, even in the shallows, you're struggling to fight it. See, I thought this kind of water here, still fast, it's still kind of fast, it's not like rushing through. I thought this was more of the habitat that you'd find the grayling in. I know they do like the shingle banks and the sort of loose rocks on the bottom. Hopefully there's a big flat bit down there you can probably see, hopefully. It's a wee bit shallower when I get down, because that's maybe going to be a good bit for the grayling fishing. You do want the water a wee bit faster as well. You don't want to give them too much time to sit and inspect your fly, because they do this for a living, so any sort of discrepancy with your fly or the way it moves, they'll suss it straight away. Same goes for trout when you're nymphing for trout. All they do literally all day is sit and filter through insects going through the water and decide what to go for and what not to go for. So yeah, it has to be pretty perfect. So let's see. Yeah, so here we go. There's my nymphs that I've got one side. Mostly wee weighted nymphs, the odd wee grubs. Pheasant tail nymphs at the bottom. And this is my dry fly, this is my pride and joy, this one. Just all my kind of upwings, clink hammers, duns, sedges. So yeah, if I ever go fly fishing for trout or grayling, that's pretty much all I'm working with. Changed my point fly to a wee copper wire nymph, and I've changed the middle dropper. Still a wee, don't know if you can see it, still a wee grub, very hard to see. Just a wee silver weighted head on top, a wee bead on top. There's a wee inflow here as well. Is that going to just be a big soggy bit? Wee inflow here as well, which is always an interesting area when it comes to locating fish. It can either be bringing in cold water, it could be bringing in warmer water. Usually this time of year colder water isn't the best thing, but it also brings in, it washes in a lot of sort of sediment through the water, especially when it's been raining, which also brings in a lot of insects. It's one thing I would recommend if you're fishing these big rivers is the fishing waistcoats with the built-in life jackets. You never know when you're going to need one. Just takes me one dodgy rock or one slippy rock or something like that and could be away. Doesn't matter how experienced you are, when you feel the cold of these waters in the winter, oof, it's a different story. I asked the missus before I went out as well if I looked like a walloper with my gloves on, and she confirmed my suspicions. But there you go. Might get me a wee sponsorship for sealskins. There's a claw of a crayfish. Look. It's the head of a crayfish, there you go. stinks as well, man. Ugh. They're not ideal because they are an invasive species, but the fish in the river, there's no sort of more concentrated, more dense source of protein than a crayfish. Once the fish kind of work out when and how to sort of eat them, that's really when you start getting your bigger fish. I'll need to have a wee look at the map again and find out exactly where I'm allowed to fish and not. I'm pretty sure I'm allowed to fish this stretch. I'm sure when I looked at it, it goes up till it gets to another sort of wee bridge, and that's when that's when the permit area sort of stops. It's alright, if anyone approaches me I'll just say, no habla inglés, and that accent as well. This is what I've changed to. I've got slightly longer from my line, so biggest fly I've got, just make sure you can see it, is this wee sort of tungsten hothead pheasant tail nymph. It's hard to, you can't get the camera to focus on it. And tied onto the shank of that, I'm coming down probably about a metre, and I've got a wee pink collared pheasant tail nymph. Oh, what is that? What kind of bird is that? I have no clue. A wee lone bird. White wings, greyback. No, it's no pigeon. Right, I think this is maybe a good spot here. I should really have brought some split shot or something with me just to stick on the end of the line, just to get the flies down that wee bit further. Yeah, I think at some point I'm going to need to employ the help of an expert to get me catching again. I've been on since I've started this YouTube channel, obviously I've caught the salmon, got some nice perch, but my luck's been terrible. I consider myself a good fisherman before I started this YouTube channel. Starting this channel is making me reconsider everything I thought about myself. But it's the typical, I used to always say it as well. I'd go fishing myself, catch plenty of fish or catch good fish. Next time you go back with your mate, you'd catch nothing. Go myself, I'd do fine. Go with your mate, catch nothing. Don't know if it's psychological or if it's just the fishing gods laughing at me. Yeah, you'll need to get in the comments and you'll need to let me know what I could have done differently, where I've went wrong. Obviously I know about the sort of fishing techniques. This is not ideal nymphing, what I'm doing right now. This is kind of just lazy fishing. And if I get a bite, it's probably more luck. I'm just talking about the areas that I'm fishing, the depths that I'm fishing. Should I be fishing these deeper, slower stretches? Should I be fishing the shallower, rushy water? Should I be fishing shallower? Should I be fishing bigger nymphs, smaller nymphs? But I'm always willing to learn. I'm no expert when it comes to the nymphing, grayling fishing. Consider myself a good dry fly fisherman, right enough, but yeah, when it comes to the nymphing and stuff, I am lacking behind majorly. Might make that the last cast. What time are we on? 5 to 3. It's going to take me about half an hour, 45 minutes to walk back to the car. So yeah, we're probably not going to get much more after this. I'll do a few swings across. I don't even catch fish in the last cast anymore, even though I have about 7 of them. Yeah, that's going to be us. Well, I tried. I'm going to get a name for myself as the guy who doesn't catch fish. It's really annoying me, actually. I'm going to go home and think about what I've done and what I could have done better. But even better if you guys tell me what I could have done better. Me, for one, I love constructive criticism. I love some criticism. I hate when I don't get any. Because how are you meant to learn if you don't get any? So yeah, don't hold back. Well guys, that's me for the day. I'm going to head back. You can probably see it is getting a wee bit darker. I don't think it's going to rain. I think it's going to be okay, but it's getting cold. Cold in my hands, even though I've got the professional gloves. But again, I do apologise. I keep trying. Again, I've not been filming, I've not been posting content for a while, but that's not because I've not been out. That's because every time I've been out, the footage just hasn't been there. I've had a few past days, I've went out myself a few times, I've had a few days with pals, I've not caught a single thing, and I don't want to keep posting videos when I'm not catching because it's not the best. But all we could do is try. Like I always say, it's Scotland. The fishing is hard in the winter in Scotland. I thought I'd maybe have a wee chance with the Grayling, but I quite quickly realised that I'm a bit inexperienced with the Grayling fishing, a bit out my depth, but I'm sure I'll only get better. But anyway, without further ado, thank you for watching, thank you very much, I really do appreciate it, and I guess I'll see you at the next cast, wherever that may be, probably next weekend, but yeah, don't know where I'm going yet, hopefully with somebody else. I'll see you there.